Olympic champion over the 1 and the 2, and as of last night, the Commonwealth champion over the 100 metres. Watch out as well for Beth Dobbin of Scotland. European finalist, semis in Doha and in Tokyo last year. Dobbin will go in 4, and Beecher of Australia should feature in 6 as well. Well, this is Aminaf Mohammed, just 17 years of age, on the outside. A really tough lane for her, with the likes of Thompson-Hera coming through from the inside. Such a young, inexperienced athlete that hopefully she'll really soak it up. Isila Outcook of Papua New Guinea, PB earlier this season. She's gone inside 25 seconds and will need another PB to get anywhere close to the shake-up. This is Jacinta Beecher, semi-finalist in Eugene over the 2. PB in Japan for that 22.7. 24-year-old coming into her very best form. Mauricia Prieto studies at the University of Alabama, national champion for Trinidad and Tobago, just off the podium in the Pan Am Games with 3 of her teammates in the 4x1. She's gone inside 23 seconds, but not this season. Now listen to the reception for Great Britain's and Scotland's Beth Dobbin. St Andrews flags are flying high after Eilish McColgan's gold in the 10,000 last night. Dobbin in 4 with Denisha Cartwright of the Bahamas inside her. PB in Division 2 of the NCAAs earlier this year. And now to the Olympic champion and the newly crowned Commonwealth champion over 100 metres. We've had a lot of the women's finalists from last night not starting. Not the case for Thompson-Hera, fully embracing the Commonwealth experience. And the championship is richer, much richer for her participation. Thompson-Hera of Jamaica in 2, Cartwright Bahamas in 3, Dobbin Scotland 4, Prieto Trinidad in 5, Beecher Australia 6, Apcook Papua New Guinea in 7, Mohammed the Maldives in lane 8. Excellent qualification so far. And Bomber 23.2, Das 23.4, White Jamaica 23.6, and Afili from Nigeria 22.71. What will we see here from the newly crowned 100-metre champion Thompson-Hera in lane 2, 5th heat of the 200 metres.
Set.
An expectant hush around the stadium. You can hear a pin drop. Thompson-Hera has Cartwright to chase. Going well is Beecher, coming round that bend with Beth Dobbin also in the mix for one of these top 3 automatic places. But Thompson-Hera is floating down the track. Dobbin closing in on Beecher. Hera jogs across the line. Dobbin second, Beecher third, 22.80. She's 900 slower than Afili from the previous heat, but that looked utterly effortless. She's helped a little bit by that handy tailwind. But I don't know about you, Steph, I'm just so impressed at the maturity of Thompson-Hera and how much respect she's paying these Commonwealth titles by being here.
100%. When I was holding my breath until the start of the heats, waiting to see if she would come out, and especially after so many athletes did have the DNS. And again, I think that just speaks to 22.39 in the World Championships for 7th place. That's still a great time, but for her standards, it wasn't enough. And this is someone who has come back determined to write her own story to end off this season. It was a great start from Thompson-Hera, but also from Dobbin and from Beecher. And again, the 200 rounds, you have to put the work in up front, and you can kind of see a bit later on down the race if you can take the burners off. We see Elaine as she gets into her smooth running, but Dobbin and Beecher are still fighting to make sure they're going to be in that top 3 automatic qualifying place.
Yeah, it's just brilliant to have her here. Beth Dobbin, such a popular British and Scottish athlete, coming through to outdip Beecher. And by the way, the non-automatic 6th spot has now tickled its way up to 24.49. Cartwright of the Bahamas from this heat. It was previously Bayu of Papua New Guinea, but Cartwright, who had a decent run there, the young Bahamian, is just about holding on to a non-automatic spot, but that was nothing more than a jog there at the end from the Olympic champion. I think she's just determined to race as much as she can when she's feeling fit, because despite the fact that she's a quadruple individual Olympic champion, not even bringing into account the relays. Over the years, intermittently, she's had a torrid time with all sorts of injuries. And she's obviously come here feeling like she's in the mood, feeling like she's in the groove. She's done the 1, why not the 2?
I think as an athlete, you never know when your time's going to be done. You have to take every opportunity you can when your body is fit.
Well, you can see the strength of that wind that was helping Elaine Thompson-Herah, but she was by enormous talent. At 22.80, Beth Dobbin coming through to outdip Beecher. Prito already guaranteed a place in the semi-finals because we've only got one more heat to come. Cartwright just about holding on to a non-automatic spot, but we'll keep a close eye on 24.49 in the 6th and final.
200 metres, it is the 6th and final heat, in fact. And there is the lineup. Julian Alford of St. Lucia, a non-starter there on the outside. At least the others will keep their original lane. And Okocha of Nigeria, Grayson Kocha, the 21-year-old, 22.44 this year. Good athlete. Studies at university in the USA. 4th at the World Championships in the 4x100 metres a couple of weeks back for Nigeria. There's Charlotte Wingfield of Malta, went out in the heats of the Commonwealth Games 100 and 200 back in 2018. Holds the national record, though, for Malta at 23.78. That was 5 years ago. Gadiatsu Kanu of Sierra Leone, no personal best. This young lady, big smiles from her, but the 20-year-old up against it in lane 6. No form from her whatsoever available. Natasha McDonald of Canada, actually better known as a 400-metre runner. She's run 50.91. She's pretty useful. That was last year. This is very much her second event. She's in 5. Beyoncé de Freitas of British Virgin Islands went out in heat of the World Championships, 200 metres, the 21-year-old. 23.20 her best. Good lane draw, but she'll have to work hard for a place in the first 3 here. This is Toy Wizil of Papua New Guinea, a semi-finalist back in 2014 at both 100 and 200 at the Commonwealth Games. It went out in the heats of the 100 here. And Winifrida Mwea Makenji of Tanzania goes in lane 2. Disqualified from a heat in the 100. There'll be some frustration for her. Down the heat of the World Indoor 60 metres in back in March as well in Belgrade. No time for Mwea Makenji this year. She's in 2. The previous heat, by the way, the wind was plus 2.9 for Thompson-Herah. Fabulous that she has turned out after the 100 victory last night. But the wind gusting, and if anything, picking up the flags on the far end of the stadium, high above the track, blowing very, very stiffly, but I think they're pretty sheltered down there in the main. Anyway, 6th and final heat of the women's 200. Roger McDonald of Canada in lane 5, the 400 specialist.
Set. Stand up, ladies, please.
Well, I'm not quite sure what happened then. I didn't hear any command or stand up or anything.
Well, Onwoan Gotcha just kind of leant forward and just kind of almost fell out of her blocks. She's a fabulously graceful athlete, PB in the NCAA champs. Watch, just a little stumble. Her left foot stumbled down towards the ground, so she didn't have the correct connection between the spike and the plate.
Well, hopefully that'll be marked down as a faulty start rather than a full start. Could be a yellow card. And Nkwacha of Nigeria out in lane 8. It's a long journey out there.
Well, and also, Tim, she's one of the few 100-metre finalists who has decided to come and take part in the 200, so I really hope she doesn't get the DQ.
No, she's okay. Brian Rowe there, I think, is the official. Australian who's done great work over the years for our sport. So, yellow card. I'm not quite sure what that actually means. What's the point? If you're not going to disqualify somebody, what's a warning card? Either you're disqualified or you're not. It's a strange one. They do carry forward, though, don't they, actually, the yellow cards? Yeah, that's a relatively new adjustment to the rules. The yellow cards get carried forward, a bit like in soccer and football. Right, 6th and final heat of the women's 200 metres. And Kwacha, the 100 finalist, goes in late for an 8 for Nigeria.
Set.
McDonald of Canada in 5. Away this time. Oh, and the Nigerian out in lane 8, just loping round. I think that's probably because she plans to run the relays, and if she doesn't start this one, then she would be invalid for a turnout in the relays. But the Canadian, Natasha McDonald, striding away with those long limbs, in second place inside De Freitas with the British Virgin Islands. That's a very, very gentle heat. Plus 2.7 the following win. The winning time 23.45. Well, goodness me, that was perhaps the softest of the 5 heats, frankly. She's hardly out of breath, is Natasha McDonald from Mississauga in Ontario. Collects keychains from the destinations where she competes. There's the second automatic qualifier. Beyonce De Freitas of the British Virgin Islands, 23.99, and Toya Wizil of Papua New Guinea has gone through automatically with 24.4.
Well, she was furiously running for the line, Wizil. She's been a great ambassador for Papua New Guinea athletics. I think it's her 4th Commonwealth Games, talking about the athlete second from the right-hand side. I came to exactly the same conclusion as you, Tim, with Nwoaka Ocha obviously having to complete her heat. She finished 5th after looking in sparkling form in the semis, but that does mean the fact that she's completed the run, it does therefore mean she can take part in the 4x1. Good running there from McDonald. Really great stuff from Beyonce De Freitas, coming second for the BVI, British Virgin Islands, and Wizil out-dipping Wingfield, but by 2/100ths of a second. Wingfield just takes the last of the non-automatic spots, denying Deshisha Cartwright, who'd run 24.49 in the previous heat. But McDonald, in the absence of Alfred in 9 and the jogging Nwoaka Ocha in 8, took full advantage.
Well, we'll bring you the list of qualifiers, automatic and non-automatic, very shortly. As you can see, McDonald there in lane 5 rather, striding away, which was good for her. She's the 400-metre specialist. She's very tall, long-limbed, moving well. Went out in her heats of the Olympics last year. And I love to see 400-metre runners running 200, because you always they're saving their best to last. They always come through strongly over the last 50 metres. McDonald makes it through perfectly okay with that win in the 6th and final heat though for Canada, along with De Freitas and Wizil of British Virgin Islands and Papua New Guinea respectively, and Charlotte Wingfield, as Rob said, also going through as well for Malta.
Favour of Philly against Elaine Thompson-Hera. Gina Bass, the first Gambian to make a World Championship final. That was back in Doha in the 200 metres. Beth Dobbin of Scotland safely through, and Bomber, well, we haven't seen her best yet. Natalia White was easing down towards the line, winning her heat with 23.61. She looked pretty good. Great to see the British Virgin Islander Beyonce De Freitas